talking into these or no? How does this usually work?
What's up, guys? Swift here covering everything Chicago Bears. Is Ryan Poles looking to add a defensive end? Poles pretty much said it himself. The Bears are not done this offseason, and Poles is well aware of our team needs. Matt Eberflus's smirk heard around Chicago also carries weight. Think back to last year. After the draft and moving Tevin Jenkins to guard, this team had only Braxton Jones and Larry Borum at tackle. Fans were freaking out. Poles would end up bringing in Riley Reiff. Now, Reiff didn't go to the Pro Bowl or anything, but he helped this team be the #1 rushing offense in the entire NFL, and he provided average play at right tackle most of the season, which was really needed considering how bad our line was last year. That being said, Poles is well aware of our roster's strengths and weaknesses. Even though he'll tell you over and over he's building long-term and not focusing just on this season, he still recognizes what this roster needs. I believe sitting here post-draft, this roster has improved dramatically in the last couple of months. Ryan Poles has brought in a ton of talent recently. DJ Moore, Tremaine Edmonds, Darnell Wright, Gervin Dexter, Zach Pickens, Tyreek Stevenson, DeMarcus Walker, TJ Edwards, Deontay Foreman, Roschon Johnson, Nate Davis, and more. I believe the Bears have brought in more talent in the last 60 days than they have at any point in the last 20 years. Think about that. When was the last time the Bears acquired a Pro Bowl talent at wide receiver and linebacker, then came away with a top 10 draft pick and 9 other picks in the draft, plus a lot more free agents? Poles has been busy this offseason. It just hasn't happened in our past, not recently. Ryan Poles has capitalized on what I talked about, this being one of the biggest off seasons in Bears history. It wasn't about fixing the entire roster this year. It was about putting as much talent around Justin Fields and improving the depth and talent on the roster overall. He has clearly done that. Anyone saying he hasn't is crazy. Just look at the depth chart video from last night. On paper, this team is so much better. That being said, there's still a huge need at defensive end, but fans act like Poles is just done. If DraftKings let me bet on this, I would put my money where my mouth was and put down a bet that the Bears will sign another defensive end before the season starts. I don't have any inside sources, but I do know a guy that knows a guy, and he at least confirmed for me that the Bears are in fact sniffing into some free agent defensive ends right now. I sent out some flyers, and I've now heard from 3 different sources that the Bears have contacted Yannick Ngakoue's representation about signing a 1-year deal. The most interesting part of this story is after I was told the Bears were looking into him, Yannick sent out a cryptic tweet saying coming soon. I've been sitting on this information hoping a deal would get announced. I'm superstitious and didn't want to jinx it. It's been a couple of days now and no word yet, but even if he doesn't bring in Yannick, it's good to see Poles is looking around to bring in another defensive end. He doesn't have to do it today. We have 4 months until the season starts. Frank Clark, who Poles is familiar with during his time in Kansas City, is also a free agent. I made the point last night, if you are a free agent defensive end, why wouldn't you want to come to Chicago? Not only are we a historic franchise, but we are a young, up-and-coming team, and we have major need at pass rusher. Any free agent defensive end wants to go somewhere they can play a lot or even start. We offer that opportunity. Not many other teams do. Also, quickly wanted to touch on Chase Young. The Commanders declined his 5th-year option, but they have no reason to rush a trade. They could play this slowly, and if he has a big year, they could even franchise tag him next year. I said it already, I believe he's one of the most talented defensive players in the entire league. People make too much of his torn ACL and want to call him an injury risk. He had 1 major injury. He's not a guy that's always injured. Let's stop that talk. The chances of acquiring him in a trade are not very likely, but the Commanders declining his 5th-year option means that a generational talent could be on the market. If he is, I think Ryan Poles needs to look into it. Poles is a build through the draft guy, but you also have to realize he's already shown he will part with the draft pick for a young, freakish athlete with Pro Bowl upside at a premium position. Chase Young checks all of those boxes. Poles traded a second-round pick for Chase Claypool last year. Now we have an extra first and second-round pick over the next 2 years, plus all of our original picks and an extra fourth-rounder as well. Chase Young fits the mold of a young, freakish athlete at a premium position and a need, just like Chase Claypool did last year, but Chase Young is even more talented. So while a move is unlikely, Poles is looking to add talent at the defensive end position, and if Chase Young is available, I would be all in on a move. Either way, the bottom line is Poles is not done yet, and he will add another defensive end or two. Whether it's via free agency or a trade, a move is coming soon if you ask me. Stay tuned, guys. I'm hard at work breaking down our rookie draft class. Please remember to hit the like button for me, and until next time, bear down.
Swifty in the house!